Number 2 is where I was born. Columbia, South Carolina. Now let me rest here a little bit with Columbia, South Carolina. When I saw this, I wasn't surprised, right? I wasn't surprised that Columbia, South Carolina was on this list. Now, keep in mind, Columbia, South Carolina is about 40 minutes from Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's about 2.5 to 3 hours from Atlanta, Georgia. So you can get to the real big cities actually relatively quick, and get back home. One of our good friends, Travis Green, and his beautiful family lives in Columbia, South Carolina. He's a big time, gospel artist, now has a big church in Columbia, South Carolina. And I asked him, I said, hey, bro, why Columbia? Like, you're a big time, individual. And he was like, man, it's home. He's like, man, I can raise my family here. It's not a lot going on, but it has a lot going on to where I can still feel like I'm a part of a city and I'm not in a rural area. And I say that because, keep in mind, Tampa, had almost 3 million people. Well, the population in South Carolina, as of right now, is about 833,000 people. Now, it's the same as Tampa. About 52% of those individuals are single. Interesting, okay? So now the average salary there is a little bit lower than Tampa. It's about $47,420. But here's why. The average house cost in Columbia, about $275,000. My mom and dad just built nearly a 4,000 square foot home. Watch this now, a 4,000 square foot home, and they only paid about $300,000. So it's at the top of a hill. There's a 4-bedroom, big old bonus room for my dad's man cave, 2-car garage, sitting on about 0.4 acres of land, right? And they only paid $300,000 for the home. So, especially for us people who are working from home, let's say you're making $60,000 from a big time company, or $70,000, you go to Columbia, South Carolina, listen, like, you could live really good. Don't be making 6 figures. Don't make 6 figures and you're living in Columbia, South Carolina. Man, for a $400,000 home, you're living in a 6,000 square foot home. You're living like a baller. And watch this. You're 45 minutes from Charlotte, North Carolina. You could jump on a 40-minute flight to Atlanta, or you can drive for 2.5, 3 hours to get to Atlanta. Sometimes when I go home to visit my family in Columbia, South Carolina, I either go to Charlotte or go to Atlanta and just drive. The drive from Atlanta is honestly not bad. So listen, Columbia, South Carolina is a rapid growing city and a very affordable place to live. The housing options are one of the top reasons I would say check this out, okay? And the population is growing. Watch this, from 2016 to 2021, Columbia's population increased by 0.674%. I'll be frank with you all. A part of me is thinking about moving back to Columbia, South Carolina and having a studio in Charlotte. It's a 45-minute drive. Heck, if you live in Atlanta, you can live in Atlanta. To get to the other side of Atlanta can take you 45 minutes to an hour. So it's like, if I live in Columbia and I got this big old home for me and my family, it's a big enough city to raise my family in, but it's not big enough to where I have all the drama of these other big old cities. But I can drive into a beautiful city to maybe have my studio at to where we record the show. That's actually starting to sound attractive to me, especially with me being a man who honestly wants to be married. And I'm always looking at, where do I want to raise my family at? And I'll be frank, I live in the DMV area right now. I'm not knocking the DMV area at all. But I am thinking like, man, in the DMV area, I'll be honest with you all, houses are stacked right next to each other. In Columbia, man, you got breathing room between houses. Like it's, CJ, put me on this camera right here. I'm about to say something that might get me in trouble. But if you're married, you don't want your neighbors hearing, never mind. You know what I'm saying? When you that close and your neighbors can hear you and your spouse, oh no, boy, you gotta be quiet in your own home. You know what I'm saying? So at least in Columbia, you get a big old home and you got some separations from the home. Drop it in the comments and let me know if you feel me. You know what I'm saying? Don't you want some space? Listen, let's go on number 3. Here's number 3. Austin, Texas. The population there is about 2.1 million people. And I was surprised their single is actually a little bit lower. It's right about 50%. It's not at 52, 53%. It's at 52%. Now their income there, watch this, is a little bit higher. It's about $57,000 a year, what the average person makes a year. But their housing price as of right now is up there. It's going to be about $500,000 to purchase a good home in Austin, Texas. Now, keep in mind, a $500,000 home compared to $57,000 annual income. I don't know if you're making $57,000, if that's a good house to have at $500,000. Let me just keep it a buck with you. All right. And so now keep in mind, there's a difference between average and median. Median means it's the middle. Average means we sum up everyone is the average salary. Okay, so this is not the average house cost. This is about the middle part of it. So I like Austin, Texas. A part of me was looking at when I was transitioning from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, so don't tell Anthony, but out of the 10, I'd probably move to Austin, Texas. I think it's a really nice place to start a family. Let me know where you would move out of the 10 cities down below in the comment section. I'll meet you there.
Some of the cities I was looking at was the Charlotte, North Carolina, Houston, Texas, San Antonio, Austin. No, not even, was it Austin? No, it wasn't Austin. It was actually San Antonio, Texas. Jacksonville, Florida. I was thinking about going back to Jacksonville, Florida, in the DMV area. And of course, I landed here in the DMV area. Not really more so for cost, but because for me, I wanted to get back near the African-American Black successful community. And DMV was just very attractive to that. You know, my best friend pastors here at one of the best churches in the world. And I was like, man, I want to come back here and just get around community. But now as I'm evolving, getting older, I'm looking, okay, cool. Where do I want to settle down at and raise a family? And so everyone's been moving to Austin lately. And here's why. Austin has a strong job market, which has caused the population to increase, but watch this, almost 9%. Almost 9%. I did a little bit of research and I found out that festivals like XSW also attracted many young single professionals there every single year. So Texas is a thriving state. Here's why I like Texas too. No state tax. So while your income may be low, you make up a little bit of that with state tax. So if you're a self-employed person, if you own your own business, you're not paying any state tax. So keep that in mind, you guys. I like the sound of Texas. I do like the sound of Texas. Number 4 is Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida, I lived there for about 5 years. The population there is about 1.5 million people. Did you know that Jacksonville, Florida is actually the largest landmass city in the United States of America? Like, Jacksonville, Florida is huge. You have the north side, south side, west side, east side, Orange Park. It is huge. I mean, it's just crazy of how much land Jacksonville, Florida actually has. Now, the single population there is about 50%, right? Now, the average salary in Jacksonville, Florida shocked me. I did not know this. $49,000 is the average salary in Jacksonville, Florida. But the median home price is $340,000. It's not bad. Now watch this. If you have the average salary at $49,000 for one person, so let's round it up to, because it's actually $49,940. So let's round it to $50,000, and then you get married to someone who's $50,000. That's $100,000 income. After taxes, if you don't have any children, you're at about like $80,000. $80,000 net pay is a great household income for a $300,000, $400,000 home. You're living comfortably. It's very affordable. It's good. And I like Jacksonville. What's the festival there they do every year, CJ? It's the they got the jazz festival there that happens every year. Man, it is beautiful. I mean, if warm weather and access to the ocean is what you want, consider Jacksonville, Florida, hands down. And Jacksonville also has a large population, but low rates of crime.